Good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone. My name is Richard Lewis Brown. Today is November 30th, 2022. It's the last day of the month for the month of November. Hopefully everyone had a great Thanksgiving if you celebrated. And hopefully you didn't eat too much. All right, so I'm starting a little bit early tonight. I normally start at 6:30. Sometimes I start at 5:30, 5:45. It all depends. So tonight, we're going to talk about the spotlight on gaslighting. And gaslighting means when they're, quote, when someone is telling you a bunch of lies to deceive you. And so how does that reflect on Local 1000? Let me say this to you. Since they have tried to do this suspension of me as your duly elected Local 1000 president, that started February 27th, Local 1000 has been, quote, gaslighting you, membership, representative employees, for month after month, hour after hour, minute after minute. And so a lot of people are confused and they're saying they don't know who to believe. And I always tell people, the person who's trying to get you paid a 21% pay increase across the board, equally for everyone, along with COLA and GO pay, that person is not, quote, gaslighting you. That person is sincerely trying to help you and your family. My name is Richard Lewis Brown. That is what I was elected to do. I haven't lied to anyone. I haven't tried to deceive, trick, manipulate, bamboozle. I haven't done any of that. When you've invited me to your work sites, I have come to your work sites and done everything on video. Everything on video. So you don't have to worry about me, quote, saying things and not being accountable for them. And so tonight, on November 30th, the last day of the month for November, we're talking about putting the spotlight on the gaslighting that Local 1000 has been doing for many, many years. But currently, hi Al, currently they are in a feverish pitch. In fact, I think they sent an email out today saying, come and talk to the VP of Bargaining, Irene Green, about the new contract. Irene Green is not going to tell you anything. Current leadership will not tell you anything. All they want you to do is pay your money so they can take trips to Norway, take trips to nice restaurants. They don't put up the credit card statements on how they're spending money on the credit cards, and spend money on politicians while those same politicians take money from you. But yet they tell you that they're doing everything to help you by first removing the duly elected president, Richard Lewis Brown, that is me. They're saying I'm a detriment. That's an absolute gaslight. I am not a detriment to this union. I'm actually its strongest asset it's ever had. I'm trying to bring you money. But I've asked all of you to tell your coworkers. I've asked you to contact Local 1000 at 866-471-7348. Record your conversation you have with the staff saying, restore the president, the duly elected president, Richard Lewis Brown, back to his position with his full powers. Because right now they've changed the policy file and bylaws, illegally changed these things. You can see it. Hi, Elizabeth. You can see it up on Local 1000 website. They've illegally changed the bylaws and policy file. They've illegally created the chair position. And the staff at Local 1000 is going right along with all these illegal changes. Wait, I hear something. I hear a rumor us members can hire a different union and give everyone the... So, Angie Garcia, let's address your rumor, because Local 1000, whether it's Irene Green, Annika Walls, David Jimenez, DLC 744 President William Hall, none of these so-called leaders will ever address rumors. But I will address your rumors and give you the facts. Members or representative employees, first let me say this. If members want to cancel their membership, I hope they don't do that. But I want you to understand something. You can cancel your membership and try to get somebody else to represent you, but your contract will be controlled by Local 1000. Your wages and working conditions will be controlled by Local 1000 because of the exclusive representative clause. Why am I the only person to ever tell you that? Because I tell you the truth, Angie Garcia. Members want to remove SEIU and hire a different union. So again, Angie, you cannot do that. Now, someone said, well, isn't there some type of time period you could possibly do that? Yes. But what I'm telling you is this. Our contract expires on June 30th, 2023. You cannot just get rid of SEIU and get a new union. It does not work like that. They have exclusive control over you. Therefore, you vote so that you can have a voice and have a union that you want to have that's going to fight for you. So now I get another question to ask. Cheryl Butters, can a classification decert? Does the whole thing, the whole bargaining unit need to? So a lot of people have asked about decertification. I don't talk about decertification that destroys union solidarity. The truth is, there is a time period where you can decertify, but I am not for that. Some people say a guy from years ago tried to decertify a couple different bargaining units within a certain period of time before our contract ended. Yes, he did try and he failed. Decertifying does not build union solidarity. Let me say this to you at 6/12 on November 30th, 2022. Decertification is not the answer. If you want to look about decertification, look it up on the internet. But that is not what I want people to do. Decertifying basically means you've given up on your union and now you want to try something else. We don't give up in this country. I have said this to you over and over and over again. So, great point, Cheryl Butters. We have no solidarity. You're correct. But that doesn't mean that we just give up. This is the spotlight of the gaslighting that they want people to give up, throw their hands up, stop their membership, so you lose your right to vote. Because like I told you, they make you spend your money to vote. So if you're spending your money to vote and you have a leader that's fighting for you, then it's going to take more than just your money to keep that leader in his or her position with their powers that they were elected with to get the job done for you. But leadership will never tell you this. Irene, Annika, David, William Hall, these individuals, none of these DLC presidents will tell you this. Now, I can't say all of them won't tell you. I'm sure there's maybe a couple who will if they have the knowledge. But decertifying is not the answer. In fact, they talk about in our policy file, anybody who talks about decertifying, if you're a steward, they'll take your stewardship away from you. That's in the policy file. So I want everyone to understand this. On November 30th, 2022, tonight's subject is about putting the spotlight on the gaslighting when they lie and try to deceive. Decertifying is not the answer. Even though many of you think that it is, it's not. It's not the answer. Now, some people say, well, we'll just quit our union, Richard. If you quit Local 1000, that is exactly what they want you to do. In the same hand, when they're sending out emails saying they're trying to build membership, they're not trying to build membership. That is an absolute lie. Okay, so wait. They're not trying to build membership. Okay, so Cheryl says, Richard, what is the answer? Because this is crazy and extremely frustrating. It feels like we're not getting anywhere. So, Cheryl, you speak for a lot of people when you say that. Crazy, extremely frustrating. That's what gaslighting does. It makes you feel crazy and frustrated. And they want you to give up, stop paying your membership, no longer become a job steward. They don't want job stewards at the work sites. That way they can control the message. We don't get crazy. We don't get frustrated. We keep fighting. I've asked people to call me, 408-207-2339, so we can talk. There is a strategy, but I don't reveal my strategy over Facebook and over Zoom, even though some people would love for me to do that so they can run back to the other side and say, okay, Richard's saying this, Richard's saying that. What are you going to do to stop him? I know, and I see Cheryl Butters on Facebook. I can't thank you enough, Cheryl Butters. I can't thank you enough Elizabeth Collins on Facebook, or Timothy Bolter, or anyone that has the courage of their convictions to stand up and say, put our president back in his position with his full powers. Because what they're trying to do is eliminate the voice of the voters in this great country. This is wrong. What they're doing is no different than January 6th. Listen to what I'm saying to you. What they're doing is no different than January 6th. Why do I talk about the racism? Because people have an unconscious bias to listen to people who look like them. I don't look like many of you. I don't talk like many of you. My ancestors did not come to America looking for a better life. So sometimes when I said that the DLC 744 President William Hall called me a nigger, many of you said, I don't believe it. Because you are subconsciously biased to believe what, quote, a white man tells you. And he's been lying to you all these years. So I see, we say here, this is exactly what's going on. They have squashed our vote, our voice, our choice, our hope. Wait a minute. They are trying to squash your vote, Cheryl Butters. They are trying to silence your voice, silence your choice. And they are trying to, quote, frustrate you so you lose hope. This is what they're trying to do 2 or 3 times a week through those propaganda, politically correct, pathological, full of lies emails. That's what they're trying to do. So a lot of people ask me, Richard, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Trust me, I'm doing things. When you ask me, I'll tell you. I don't ask anyone to do something that I'm not willing to do myself. So I've been asked about the lawsuit that DLC 744 President William Hall put against me. Well, look it up on the Sacramento Superior Court website, Department 27. That lawsuit that's trying to remove me from office, and they're trying to say that the chair position is created legally, is a farce. But the lawsuit and all the things that they're doing now, and now DLC President 744 President William Hall is saying that he lost his attorney and he needs more time. Now he's asking for a second 90 days. So 90 and 90, if I get my math right, is 180. So Bill is asking for 6 months. A total of 6 months for him to find a new lawyer. After, listen to this. This is after our money paid for his current attorney, who unfortunately passed away, Mr. Chris Kassenbach. So out of our money, we paid $42,000 unlimited, with no strings attached, to DLC 744 President Bill Hall to sue you and me because he wants to remove me because he wants to run the union, even though he never got not one single vote in an election in 2021 because of his white privilege. And people don't like when I say that, but I'm going to keep saying it because it's the truth. And sometimes the truth hurts. And I know there's a lot of good white folks in the state of California. And I don't mean to hurt your feelings, but there's a few in your group that's acting amok, running amok, destroying your good name. Until you call these people out for what they are and who they are, they will continue to silence your vote. This is not just about silencing minority voters. This is about silencing the majority white people in this union. I agree, Elizabeth Collins. No one can squash your voice, your hope, your self-worth unless you allow it. The best thing to do is to hold your head high and refuse to be defeated. Absolutely correct. That's absolutely correct, Elizabeth Collins. Hold your head high. Let me lead by example. I'm going to hold my head high. I haven't done anything wrong to this union. I never called anyone a nigger. But William Hall did. The same guy that's sending you off these emails acting like he's helping you, he's not helping you. He's not helping you. And neither is Annika Walls. Yes, she's a Chicana, a Mexican American, but she doesn't like black people either. And yes, she's married to an African American. So what? So what? You can be married to somebody from another race and still be prejudiced and not view those in that race as being your equal. Oh, yes, you can. None of these so-called Local 1000 leaders will ever come on my video and address me and say, hey, we're trying to run you out because of these things here. They do everything behind a closed door the way the former president used to do. Because they're snakes. You say, well, Richard, don't be so judgmental. I'm not trying to judge them. I'm telling you their actions are actions of a snake. Duplicitous in everything she says and does. That is Annika Walls. David Jimenez is no better. You know, when Annika and David begged me to go to LA to meet the Los Angeles Federation of Labor President Ron Herrera back in 21, because they said he was such a great guy, come to find out him and his other Latino friends don't even like black people. But I was waiting for that to come out. Just waiting, patiently waiting. All this stuff will come out on these individuals. They don't have the courage of their convictions to ever tell you that the state of California is not your boss. They tell you the state of California is our boss. Then how can they be your boss and then you negotiate on an equal platform with them? You cannot, and you will not, and you never will. And that's the mindset of these childlike, condescending contracts we've been signing for years. This is why they don't want me back up in there. Because they know I will not lead like that. We will not have a childlike, condescending contract. We would have never given money to these politicians. The same politicians that take money from you are asking for you to give them money to help them get reelected. So I paused for a second because I don't want you to think that I'm angry. You know, some of you have this confirmation bias that when you see a person of color talk in an elevated pitch, you think that we're angry. No, that's your shortcoming, and I'm going to keep calling you out for it. That's your shortcoming. That's your racial prejudice, whether you subconsciously or unconsciously realize it or not. That's who you are. You have a personal problem. What I'm doing outside of the pulpit, outside of the sports, outside of the sports field, outside of entertainment, I'm not your rapper. I'm telling you passionately, and not from a European mindset, but from an African one. Maybe you should study your history. You'll find out who came on this quote planet first. There's a reason. Let me stop. All right, so we're going to put the spotlight on the gaslighting. Who was elected Local 1000 president? Richard Lewis Brown. That is me. Was Richard Lewis Brown protecting you during COVID? Yes, he was. Was Richard Lewis Brown trying to fight for CCC to keep those prison jobs up there in Susanville? Yes, he was. Was Richard Lewis Brown fighting for all jobs? Yes, he was. Is Richard Lewis Brown your leader that's going to tell you in the next contract all jobs will be guaranteed? There will be no job loss through no agency while under the terms of that next contract. I'm the only one that tells you this. I'm the only one who will ever tell you that and guarantee it. These other people will lie to you, lie to you, lie to you. Is that too powerful for you? Okay. Then they'll gaslight you, since you like being gaslighted. And then when you say, I feel frustrated, I don't know what to do. We should have had 20 to 30,000 people march on that building months ago and say, what the hell's going on here? But some people like losing money. Let me explain it to you like this. Gaslighting. We have almost 100 billion in surplus. Now you have no excuse to not pay out that money that I've been talking about when I was campaigning. And I talked about it in 2018. Now they're telling you Gaslight, we're 15, 10, 30, 40, 45 billion in the hole. That's an absolute lie. That's an absolute lie. Because you have a liar that's leading the state of California. His name is Gavin Newsom. A liar. If we're really so far in the hole, then show us the financial statements. The state of California, mark your calendars on November 30th at 7:27 p.m. 6:27 p.m. They'll never give you their financial statements. They'll never tell you the truth. I will use never and never and never quite a few times tonight because I know what I'm talking about. Because they know that you don't have the courage of your convictions. If you allow your own duly elected president who is fighting for you to be removed from office, you're not going to have a contract. You're going to have what they give you. Like they've been giving you all of these years, which is to keep you living day to day on a livable wage. So on December 7th, when they say call in and speak to Irene Green, she's not going to tell you nothing. Because the truth of God is not in her either. She'll give you a lot of lip service. I used to work with Irene Green. I know who I'm talking about. Down in EDD in San Jose, PAC 0145. I know how she worked. But I don't say anything. But I know the truth on these so-called individuals in our union. These people don't care about you. They never have and they never will. If they cared about you, they would respect the vote of the voices of membership. But they do not care. And they never have cared. And by them trying to remove me from office, this is showing you their actions of a snake. Duplicitous in everything they say and do. You can never believe a word that they talk about. Again, tonight, November 30th, 2022, is about what? The spotlight on gaslighting. In other words, transparency. These people will never be transparent with you. They'll lie to you, lie to you, lie to you. They won't even answer your emails half the time. You saw my last email I put up, November 23rd. For the 6th time, I asked them for the financials. I asked them for the meeting minute notes from the board meetings from March all the way up to now. Asked on how they voted on these policy-bound bylaw changes. Tell me how they voted. Tell me who voted for it so we can have some accountability. They'll never give it to me. I've asked them 6 times. He said, well, Richard, what do I keep asking them for? They don't care about you. Why don't you do something else, Richard? Okay. All right. Message received. Some people say, Richard, all you do is rant and rave. You say that you don't have the money from the attorney to help fight this evilness. What are you doing, Richard? What are you doing? Okay. Okay. I'll stop the rant. Okay. I'll take action. No more ranting and raving with me not having money for an attorney. Fair enough. I'll take some action. Just, let me write this down and take a note. We're almost at 6:30 and I'll start on Zoom and I'll start all over again. And about them not providing me the information that I've asked 6 different times since June. Board information. You say stop the ranting and raving. Take some action, Richard. Okay. 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 Tonight's about the spotlight on gaslighting. November 30th, 2022. Hello to everyone on Zoom. I've been talking since 6:06 on Facebook Live. Well, okay, so now Tina Terry says, Richard, I like your rants and ravings. Please never stop doing those. Thank you, Tina Terry. I appreciate that. Listen, tonight's about the spotlight on gaslighting. Local 1000 has been lying to you over the last few months. March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. Why is that important? I have tried to be patient and respectful up to a point without having my dignity violated. 9 months I've waited. 9 months. What is that? That's my number 3 squared. 9 months. Long enough. I haven't gotten, well, have I gotten frustrated? Hey, I'm human. Have I gotten sad, depressed, demoralized, want to give up? Sure. But then I think about those 2,637 people who voted for me. I think about all the people who didn't vote for me who believe in what I'm talking about because they never seen anyone actually practice what they preach. Because you have preachers in churches tell you one thing but do something different. And I'm not just going to pick on the preachers in churches. I'm going to talk about some of these rabbis, some of these imams. It ain't just Christianity. It's not just Judaism. It's not just Islam. You have people in all these different religious groups. You have some bad apples in all the religious groups. You got some bad apples in different groups of races, of ethnicity. Trust me, you do. So evilness does not have a certain type of specific group they go to. Evilness just looks for people who are, quote, ready to do the law of evil. And you have that here in Local 1000. And it starts with putting the spotlight on their gaslighting, on their lies that they tell you over and over and over and over. They're trying to control the narrative. They're trying to get inside your psyche. They don't want you to have a 21% pay increase across the board. They don't want you to have GOP and COLA. They want you to live like a slave. Slaves Entertaining in Unity for SEIU International in Washington, D.C. They want you living day to day. That's what they want. Thank you, Angie Garcia. I try to bring it every week. And sometimes it gets tough to bring the energy. The lying, the plotting, and the scheming. To all the members since before the vote was counted. Now, Elizabeth Collins, you're right. Remember when they came on April 20th, 2022, Courage or Convictions. And some of the DLC presidents admitted that Annika was having these conference calls after they announced that I won on how they could use the HR 1 process to remove me from office. Do you remember that? I do. And that's outside of the other group who want me removed from office, the Bill Hall, quote, Yvonne Walker supporters. So both groups are fighting among each other on how fast they can try to run me out of here. Remember I asked you to call 866-471-7348 and tell them and get the name of the person you're talking to and email your DLC president and say, we want that board meeting that's going to determine the future of the local 1,000 duly elected president. We want that board meeting out in the open for accountability. No edits. Unedited. So that you don't have to ask me what happened at the board meeting and hear my point of view from another person's point of view. That board meeting needs to be out in the open. And if you're not contacting the media, shame on you. If you're not contacting your DLC president, you can go to SIU1000.org, look on the map, find out who your DLC president is. There's no excuse to not be communicating with your coworkers. The money is there for you. Don't let these so-called usurpers, these people who are trying to run this coup, and even though some people feel like, well, the court system, Richard, should step in and stop this, they may be corrupt as well. This may have to go, I don't know how far up, on the state level or the federal level. The fact that I said no political spending drove these people out of their minds. And then when people say, we should just go and join another union, you can't even join another union because you can, but your wages and working conditions is controlled by Local 1000 The exclusive representative clause that they talked about in the Janus decision on June 27, 2018, and Justice Alito said that exclusive representative clause doesn't sound constitutional. There is a problem with that clause. All the U.S. Supreme Court needs is another case, Richard Lewis Brown, to go up there for them to make a decision to say you can no longer control somebody's wages and working conditions unless they're a member of your union. And therefore, when they tell you these, quote, spotlight on the gaslighting, when they tell you you're not paying money to Local 1000, so you're a freeloader, that will be a lie. Because you should not be representing someone who's not paying money to you. But let these so-called Local 1000, some of these so-called leaders tell you, we got all these freeloaders who want all this free stuff. They don't represent them. Let them be free to join and create their own union under the Ralph C. Dills Act. Well, so I wasn't going to rant tonight. And I said that me not having money for an attorney to fight all this evilness, that I'm not going to rant about that. And people said, we're tired of hearing you rant, even though someone came on Facebook and said they'd like to hear me rant. I think it's Tina Terry. I'm going to take action. I'm going to take some action. There are people here on Facebook and on Zoom that when I ask them to help me, they help me. There are people on Facebook and Zoom that are, quote, putting that work in. They're not just talking, they show up. And I deeply appreciate that. I do. They know who they are. I don't have to say their names. I don't want to put the spotlight on them. I'm putting the spotlight on the gaslighting, quote, Local 1000's lies. They're luxurious, long-lasting lies they've been telling from the very beginning. You need us. You don't need a union that's not going to fight for you. No, you don't. But again, they lied to you when they said they were a union. This is a social justice organization for the Democratic Party. This is not a labor union. It's not. They portray themselves under the purple, pathological poetry of passion, of social justice, but yet they call me nigger. They call me a motherfucker. They had me holding a gun. The angry black man with a gun. If I was a white man with a gun by my side, they'd say I'm a patriotic American. I believe my Second Right Amendments. You say, oh, Richard's not really like that. Oh, yes, it is. Do your homework, people. Do some reading. When white men carry long rifles, everything is A-okay. When black men carry long rifles, we've got a problem. We've got to change the laws. That's racism. Right here in the state of California, when the Black Panthers years ago marched to the Sacramento Capitol with those long rifles, they cut that shat out immediately right after that. Since I don't know anything. No, it's not me, it's you. I'm challenging you to keep hope alive. But that's how they portrayed me. That's another gaslight. The angry black man. The black man with a rifle. A long rifle. No, I'm passionate. I'm not angry about anything. If I was angry, I would do like some black men do. Get high on some crack cocaine. Shoot another brother over $20. Shoot another brother over my baby's mama. If I was angry. I'm not angry. Look at that smile. I'm not angry. I'm actually happy. I really am. I know what I'm talking about. All right. With that being said, I hope that everyone will have a great holiday season. Excuse me. Action will be taken. We've waited 9 months. And like I told you earlier, DLC 744 President William Hall is asking for 6 months for him to find a new attorney, after we already paid for his former attorney. Now he needs 6 more months. He asked for it in August. I was never told about it. I didn't know anything about that. I never agreed to give him an additional 3 months. The judge gave it to him anyway. Now he's asking for it again on November 10th. This time, I caught it. And I said, nope, I disagree. Look it up. Sacramento Superior Court website. Department 27, case number, wait for it, 2022-803793. Because I know some of you are so smart, and some of these old smarty people are always so smart and always trying to tell me what to do. You know, did you let your attorney go? Blah, 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 blah. Whatever. You know what? It tickles me. I got so many smarty people here in Local 1000. But yet, you can't figure out how to get a substantial pay increase. You can't figure out who's telling you the truth and who's lying to you. With all your little smart, brilliant ideas. Ideas are great. Putting them into action is something different. Everybody has ideas. I got an idea. I want to be 7 foot tall. Good luck with that, Richard. The spotlight on gaslighting. Everything I say tonight, verify it. Verify it. And you will be able to. Oh, the HR one that's against me, I don't know when that's going to end. I don't know when the arbitrator is going to submit his recommendation. But you're going to hear about it. Remember, I keep telling you, call the union, speak to your DLC president, make sure that the future Local 1000 president, that board meeting is held out in the open. It should be held in person. So the members can show up and say, what are you doing? But they probably won't do it in person, and they'll violate the corporations code. They've been violating the California Corporations Code left and right since March. Well, actually, since last October 16th and 17th, 2021. But see, when, quote, a white man does that, it's all good. You don't like when I say that. I'm going to keep saying it, I'm going to keep sticking it to you. Just like when he called me nigger and that hurt me. Okay. He thought that was over. It ain't over. It ain't over. And all you white people who know that I've never lied to you, and I'm telling you what this man said to me, you just sit there and you don't say anything. Well, what did you do to make him call you that? Well, I didn't try to flirt with his wife. I said, we need a better contract. And that's when he called me a nigger. I didn't know my place. And you don't even say anything, white people. That's not a good thing on you. That doesn't look good on you. It doesn't. You're not holding that man responsible. So he calls me a nigger, then he wants to be the chair illegally, and then he sends you all these lying, quote, gaslighting emails. And the staff is supporting this racist white man who called me a nigger. What does that tell you about some of the staff, at least the staff in management at Local 1000? What does that tell you? That they never respected the former president who was African American. That's what that tells you. But they played along and they smiled with her because she knew her place in life. She knew that being a part of the Democratic Party, she had to know what to say and what not to say to keep her status. And that's what happens when you let a political party dictate to you how you think and how you feel. And I am a registered Democrat currently. But my party can't tell me how to think and how to feel. I'll make my own decision. I have my own independent mind. And I wish more whites and blacks and, quote, Latinos, Latinas, Asians. I wish sometimes you could make up your own mind and be an independent thinker and don't let your political party or don't let your family dictate to you when you know that something is wrong. And them trying to remove me from office over these trumped up, BS, meritless, silly allegations of financial malfeasance? Am I the one who went to Disneyland? Did I buy Chamika a Disneyland gift? But even though Margarita Maldonado got a Disneyland gift of over $5,000, I think it was $4,500 and something. And Teresa Taylor, the one that told me to suck a dick, and then her daughter told me to eat a dick, so I guess suck a dick, eat a dick, it's all in the same family. I don't know. She got a gift from Yvonne Walker, $1,800 worth to Napa years ago. Did they do an HR1 on her? No. Have they done an HR1 on her currently? No. And then you wonder why I say this is white privilege. You wonder why I say that. And then some of you won't watch this video because I'm talking about the spotlight on the gaslighting, on racism, on political power play moves that's not going to help you. Many of you won't watch this video. Then don't watch. I'm not begging you. But here's what I will tell you. Here's what I'll tell you this 1,000%. You thought you lost 2 days of pay for 2 straight fiscal years, they cut the second year off. If I'm Governor Gavin Newsom, the next time I have a financial crisis, I'm going to take 3 days from you, maybe a whole week, because you don't have the courage of your convictions to stand up and fight for yourself. You just put your head down and do as you're told. This ain't a third world country. This is the United States of America. Get in where you fit in. And as long as you keep putting your head down and doing what they tell you to do, they'll keep pushing and taking from you over and over and over again. You didn't learn your lesson the first time with Schwarzenegger. But now you got a real leader, an elected leader who defeated the odds through the grace of God through Jesus Christ. Oh, yes, I will say that. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Sure. And now you don't know what to do. We can't get frustrated. We can't give up hope. This is the holiday season. It's easy to let your life fall to drugs and alcohol during the holiday season. Because some of us have to see our families. And we know how that can be. Nobody can get on your last nerves like your family member can. Especially during the holidays. Boy, they know how to give it to you. All right. So I see a hand raised. If it looks like it's Yolanda Williams. Go ahead, Yolanda, please.
Take that to PERS. If there's enough people who are out there on Facebook, I know there's a lot, because they choose to pick who they want to do a grievance all the way, or they'll stop you in the middle. But if enough people can go to PERS, file their complaint, and say that it's non-representation and they're taking your money and they're not representing you, and you have your evidence, then that will make somebody look at what's going on. But 1 or 2 people, because they like to shut you down at PERS, okay? I'm number one. I can testify to that. They'll tell you in a minute that you didn't do a prima facie, which is the who, what, when, and where. That's basically what a prima facie is. So if enough people out there go out there to PERS and file it, and it'll make them look at SEIU Local 1000 and make something happen, because then that'll show that something is wrong. Why are you guys not doing anything? Why is there so many people filing PERS agreements, PERS theories? And this is my thought, and that's what I wanted to say today. But you're spot on, Richard, in regards to the racism that's out here. I really would like to say is, whoever, please mute your phone. want to ignore you, and they will, because they still haven't answered my question in regards to Teresa Taylor and the $1,800. David Jimenez just ignored it. Like, I never sent them an email, just nothing. So you guys, if this is what you want as leaders, for you to contact them and they ignore you, then just sit around and take what they give you, because that's what they're giving us. They're taking our money and they're not doing anything for us. And if you want that, then keep doing what you're doing. If you don't, then get out here and make something happen. That's what I have to say. Thank you, Richard.
Yolanda Williams, thank you for calling in. Yolanda said the people should file with PERB, Public Employment Relations Board. Huh. You know what, Yolanda? I think that's a great idea. I think that's a great idea. She said more than one person needs to file, and that when you file with PERB, they have I guess they have a procedure, whatever you have to do. So she said that your prima facie, you have to have the WHO, and the WHO would be Richard Lewis Brown. They're trying to remove me from office as a duly elected Local 1000 president over some baseless, meritless allegations. This is for PERB. She said what? I said on baseless, meritless allegations. Hold on one moment here, because I need to have everybody muted. Hold on one moment. Okay, so the WHO is Richard Lewis Brown, the prima facie for PERB. If you decide to file with PERB, we need a lot of people to file with PERB. The WHO is Richard Lewis Brown. The what? They are trying to suspend me when I had already suspended the duties of the duly elected 3 VPs. When they try to suspend me on February 27th, that's been held up so far. And to where from me doing my job as a duly elected president. And now they tried to change the policy file over all the things they've done wrong. They're trying to validate all the things that they've done wrong so they can say that it's legal, and it's not. So Yolanda is saying that you should file with PERB, Public Employment Relations Board. Public Employment Relations Board, PERB. She's right. I shouldn't be surprised by what Yolanda Williams is saying, because she's the one that had to tell me on 2 different occasions, do the essential worker premium pay, President Brown. On the second time she told me, I caught on. 17,000 petitions later. We turned in February of this year, before they did their illegal suspension of me. She's right. You know, Yolanda?
They definitely have to get on the PERB's website. And when they do it, they're going to have, like I said, it's the who, what, when, and where, how it affects you. And just, it's not that hard, but they definitely have to know their evidence and stuff like that. So I just say, if you want to do the PERBs, do it, because we can't just sit by idly and just let them take our money. I plan on doing other things, legally, but I did that, with my out-of-class grievance, but who knows what I can do next, because I'm tired of them taking my money, and they don't do nothing. They give you lip service, and they keep it pushing. That's all. They don't try to do nothing more, and they make you wait forever and a day to get your grievance down. That's why they tell you it takes, like, you did a PowerPoint, 300, what was it? I think 200-something days, or close to a year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was over, oh gosh. Yeah, it was over 200, and I know it was easily over 6 months. I think it was close to the 9-month mark. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. And enough of the people in this union, if we all come together and stop sitting back and being scared, then something will change. We all came out and made it happen and got a new president. We can all make it happen again and reverse this, because it's wrong.
So I'm glad that she said that. She said you can go to PERB and read how to fill out a PERB thing and file against Local 1000. I think Yolanda Williams, that's a great idea. I think that's fantastic. when I do these videos, I always tell people my videos are unscripted, unrehearsed. I may have an idea on what I want to talk about, but I don't tell people what to say. Well, you can tell by my videos because you see me argue with people on my videos. So, people come on and they speak their mind. I try not to cut them off. I've gotten better at that because usually my mind is racing and I'm jumping ahead. And I'm trying to get people to talk faster in 2 minutes or less soundbite, and then I'll try to talk in 2 minutes or less, and give it right back to them. So it's a back and forth like you see on TV. So when you see the people on TV talking, and they give you all this valuable information, if you watch them, they're talking about 1,000 words every 30 seconds. And they're just talking fast and to the point, and then they shut it down. And they let the host continue the program. And sometimes I wonder when people call, have they watched enough, political programs, or have they watched enough news shows on TV to see how it goes? You got to rattle them 30, 35 seconds and then shut it down. And be very informative in those 30 to 35 seconds. So what Yolanda Williams was saying, the who, what, when, where, and how. Well, we know how it's affected the union because no one knows who's leading the union. Because when you vote and you say, hey, the president has been elected, and you realize the powers that the former president had, but now you see this current president is being run out of office, and they're trying to take all his powers and give it to somebody who you didn't even elect, who didn't even run for president of Local 1000. So they try to go through a backdoor way, and that backdoor way is not going to work. And this is why DLC 744 President William Hall is trying to extend out that court case, because he's going to lose in court, and he knows it. And even if he doesn't lose in court, they pick that judge for a particular reason, hoping to get favor from him. So they're doing all these actions to show, hey, we've done all this work since we removed Richard from office, or removed him from his powers, because he didn't want to do anything. But that is not what I was elected to do. I was not elected to continue the status quo. I have my 10-point platform. What do they have? They have nothing but a spotlight on their, quote, gaslighting. That's all that they have is lies. Lies and lies and more lies. That's all that they have. They don't have a foundation. They don't have a 10 commandments. They have no backbone. They have no principles. They have no ethics. And not the entire, quote, Local 1000 board of directors, not all 65 members, including myself, but a certain percentage of that Local 1000 board of directors, 51 DLC presidents, 10 bunk chairs, and the 4 statewide officers. And notice how I did not say no chair. Notice how I didn't say that. Maybe they're changing that. You cannot do this. You're violating the California Corporations Code. They know what they're doing. They already know it. And that's why now he says, let's push this off some more. So when they were telling you I was trying to delay the lawsuit and I was trying to delay the H.R. 1, they were lying through their teeth. Just waiting for it to come out. Just waiting. What I tried to do with my H.R. 1 case against these meritless allegations, Michael Gus and Annika Walls, I tried to handle that as quickly as I possibly could. But every time I turned around, they were bringing up more lies. And here's the thing about this. I had so many people who wanted to help me in that H.R. 1. Stay tuned. I can't wait, because I got a lot to say about that H.R. 1 case. I can't wait for this arbitrator to submit his recommendation. And don't worry, because you know how I get down. You know how I get down. And even though this arbitrator is African American, he was specially selected by SEIU International, a black man, to, quote, lynch another black man. I said it. Oh, yes, I did. He ain't the first black man to try to lynch another black man. Go back to the slave plantation. When Master wanted to, listen to me, when Master wanted to, quote, send a message, get one of the slaves to have that slave whip the slave that was trying to escape. The slave that was trying to learn how to read and write. The slave that was reading the Bible and realizing that, quote, Christianity that was being told to the slaves in the Christianity of the Bible. That certain verses were left out. Oh, it's going to be that kind of night tonight. You know, I wish sometimes people who had the courage of their convictions would come on here. Where's Richard Wake at tonight? I don't see him on here talking. He'll probably come on and watch later and then put little stupid comments up on Facebook. You know, he's another white man using his privilege. Well, I don't know if he has too much privilege. I mean, I'm not so sure. But the reason I say these things to you, I stand strong in what I say. I stand strong in what I say. And when I tell you they went out and specifically hired this black man to lynch me, I mean that. But you'll say, well, I thought you didn't like white people, Richard. No. I call it the way I see it. And I've told you repeatedly, there's bad apples in every group. And remember, how can this man be unbiased when he's being paid by Local 1000? Oh, and for a side note, I'm going to tell you this, because I haven't really talked much about this. Annika Wallace has an attorney helping her try to remove me from the union. This is your organizing and representation. She's organizing, all right. She's organizing, trying to run me out of the union because she wants to be the president. But, quote, William Hall got her right out the way because he's a white man. She ain't going to talk to him a certain way. She's too afraid to. She knows her place. She does. And Mr. Hall knows it. He knows he can talk to her any kind of way he wants. He can push her around, say things to her. He's called me nigger. So she knows to stay in her place. Her and David Jimenez, they're both afraid of Mr. Hall. I ain't afraid of Mr. Hall. I'm at 3225 43rd Street. You called me nigger. You got away with it that time. I would highly encourage you to not call me nigger ever again, Mr. Hall. I mean, this union means everything to me up to a point. Up to a point. Try me if you like. So, great thing. How much money has Local 1000 paid Annika's attorney to help remove me from office? I would probably say over $100,000. They'll never give you the financial statement on how much money they paid that man. Him and his entire staff, they're not going to tell you that. They're going to lie to you and say, we never paid him anything. Who's paying for Mr. Phil Andonian? If it's international paying for it, why are they involved? This is an HR1. This is an internal matter. Why are they involved? Because that violates our Constitution. Local 1000 International has not got involved in this situation? Did they get involved in the situation when Yvonne Walker was paying out money to people back in 2018? Did they get involved then? Did they get involved with Annika and Kevin Miniger and Tony Owens when they were trying to run Yvonne out? Did International get involved in and send one of their attorneys down to help Annika run Yvonne out of office? Did she? Did they? Hell no. I guess International were like Mexicans. Yeah, I said it. Because International is run by a white woman. A white woman that knows that Bill Hall called me a nigger. A white woman that let another white woman tell me to suck a dick. And her daughter tell me to eat a dick. And then you wonder why I say things the way I do and I come at you 1,000 miles an hour. Because I know I'm on righteous ground and I'm telling it the way it is. And I haven't been bought. I haven't been hustled. The only problem is I haven't been able to inspire you to get up off your rear end or tell your colleagues to get up off their rear ends and get it together. There's nothing wrong with me. We can all improve, sure. But my question is, if you allow them to run me out of office, then you deserve everything that happens to you in this union. If I'm Gavin Newsom, I'm not giving you a dime. This is how I said that. If I'm Gavin Newsom, I'm not giving you a dime. And when I run for the White House, when I run for U.S. Senate, when I do anything I want, I'll go to Local 1000 and say, hey, get on your knees like you always have and give me what I want. Because they'll treat you like a dog. And maybe you are a dog. I'm not a dog. I'm a man, a black man. As I say affectionately, in honor of my mother, I'm mama's black boy to the day I die. Yes, I'm a child of God. But most of you don't even believe in God. So I have to talk in a very worldly fashion to get your attention at times. Okay, so it's 7:06. And I would love to stay and chat longer. But you know, Yolanda Williams has a way of saying things and getting inside my head. Hi, Troy. Troy Phillips. I see you doing a lot of talking on Facebook, but you won't come on Zoom and talk. I kind of wonder what's going on. I just kind of wonder. Whose side are you really on, Troy? You on the righteous side or you on the evil side? Or are you trying to play neutral? You can't play neutral in this game. People's lives are at stake. And either you're doing what's right or you're doing what's wrong, Mr. Phillips. So, Yolanda Williams has inspired me tonight. All of you, Elizabeth Collins, Tina Terry, Angie Garcia, all of you inspire me. You know, there's a man, there's a story in the Bible about Joseph and Mary. You know, let me send a shout out because Joseph is a hell of a guy. And his wife, Mary, I think that's his wife's name. So I see Troy Phillips says, DLC 768 elections tonight. We are trying to get on track. Oh, okay. Sounds good, Troy. I thought DLC 768 had a VP that would become president. What happened to that VP, Troy? Who was the former president? I think it was Cheryl Allen. So Cheryl had a VP, because I know Cheryl had a great DLC. Why didn't that VP become president, Troy Phillips? Can you answer that question? Or did that VP resign? And if so, then it should have went to the Secretary-Treasurer or to the Treasurer, then the Secretary. I think that's the correct sequence. So what happened there, Troy? So I don't get a response. See, this is the thing with people. When they come on, they challenge me or they say stuff to me and I get right back at them so fast, so fierce. I wish I had... Hold on one second here. They did not run. I guess we only had 2 people run. No, that doesn't sound right. That does not sound right to me. That does not sound right. Unless they're doing some sneaky stuff. Because when I go to my policy file, the correct policy file, not the one from March that did all those illegal changes. And it says here, I thought I had it memorized better. Vacancies in a DLC other than a recall. In the event of a vacancy of the president, the vice president, chief steward takes over. President and vice president, chief steward are both gone. Then, I had it right. Then, if they're both gone at the same time, then it goes to the secretary-treasurer or treasurer of his treasurer, then the secretary. And then if all the officers are gone, then the vice president of organized representation, Annika Walls, calls a special board meeting of the DLC executive board within 24 hours of confirmation of such emergency situation. The executive board shall elect a temporary chair from their ranks and proceed immediately to elect a president. So my question to you, Troy, did the DLC executive board have a meeting called by Annika to elect a temporary chair from their ranks and proceed immediately to elect a membership? And if that's the case, if they did that, Troy, the election must be ratified by the DLC membership at a called meeting within 90 days of the appointment. So I'm going to ask you a question, Troy. Did Annika Walls call a special board meeting for DLC 768 Executive Board within 24 hours of being informed that there was no longer a president and vice president? And if that was the case, when she called that meeting, did you guys elect a temporary chair from your ranks and proceed to immediately elect a president from that meeting? Did that happen? See, this is the thing about me. They do all this talking, these so-called Look 1,000 leaders. But yet, you see me go and pull out the policy file and talk to someone and ask direct questions. Because that's how they would attack me. They would attack me. And I said, come on and attack me. Let's go to the policy file together. Remember Kevin Miniger tried to get at me months ago with the policy file, and I went right back at him? And then you wonder why I tell you they're gaslighting you. They'll lie to you because they feel that you won't read. That you don't care, you'll get tired, you'll get frustrated, you'll lose hope, you'll give up. That is exactly what they want you to do. In other words, to the majority of people in Local 1000, to all you white people, know how they're treating you? I'm going to tell you how they're treating you. They're treating you like black folks. They ain't treating white folks in Local 1000 like black people. Yes? Yeah. Yeah, they want you to give up, get frustrated, do some drugs, sing some rap songs. That's how they're treating you. That's how they're treating you. They're treating you like black folks from the ghetto. They got you acting like a slave. We had a board meeting and asked for the nominees for the president and VP chief steward. Did Annika Walls call that meeting, Troy Phillips? You didn't answer the question. You're playing games. So, as you can see, they talked about me violating the policy file, and I violated that, and I violated this. But yet these same people, led by a white man, is violating stuff left and right. And they don't want you to ask no questions. They want you to stay stupid and act like a slave. They're treating you like black people. That's how they're treating you. So it says, AWOL did call the meeting. Show me the email. Send me proof of the email. Send me proof of the email. In fact, Troy, put it up on my Facebook page. Show me the whole process for 768 getting a new president. Because I can guarantee you, if Annika Walls is involved, whoever they try to put in there, that person's going to vote to remove me from office. Troy, since you're talking. Have you contacted your DLC president? Have you contacted the board of directors and told them to have that meeting regarding my future held out in the open so they can all be responsible for how they vote? Have you done that, Troy? You have not. You have not. You haven't. Are you working for Annika Walls, Troy? Would you like to go on my Facebook page and say, no, I don't have conversations with Annika about removing Richard. I'm not supporting Annika or the evil things that she's trying to do to remove you based on some meritless, baseless HR1 allegations. Have you done that? Do you have the emails to state that, Troy? You do not. Woo! You know why I'm laughing? Because I know he can't talk himself out of this. When you see me talk this strong and this fast, next election, well, who knows? It's supposed to be 2024, but the way this board of directors, they had these special board meetings, they may not do it for the next 6 years. They may change all of that because they don't want you to know. I did not ask Josh. He is the new DLC. Josh. I don't know who Josh, I don't know who that is. So anyway, you didn't answer the questions, Troy, but that's fine because I don't expect you to answer the questions, you know, because everyone has the role that they play. Here's what I do know. White people in Local 1000, you're being treated like black folks. They walk right over you and they don't care about you because they know you're not willing to fight. And that's a sad state because we hear about, quote, white people who are so proud to be white. And I thought that was the same here in the state of California. Because I know proud white folks back in Missouri. You ain't gonna walk over them. Oh no. But then again, I know proud black folks back in Missouri. You ain't walking over them either. But I guess we're just so southern. We're just so silly. We're just so stupid. You know, we don't know anything. We're not as cultured as people in California. Keep thinking that. All I know is you've been losing money and you've never had no one stand up and fight for you. It all seemed legit, Troy Phillips. It all seemed legit. Really? It all seemed legit? You don't know? And you have your own Facebook page, and you're a leader in Local 1000, but you don't have a clear-cut answer? No, that's not a good enough answer, Troy Phillips. You can run that on people on Facebook who don't know anything. But if you are a leader, a job steward, know what you're talking about. It all seemed legit. Does it seem legit, Troy Phillips, that they're trying to remove me from office? Does that seem legit? This is the truth. If our DLCs are healthy, our union will be better. No. If you have a voting process that's respected first, then you can get to all the other stuff. The people voted. I was elected president, Troy Phillips. Do you respect the voice of the voters? It's either a yes or no. What do you have, Troy Phillips? It's either a yes or a no. Do you respect the voice of the voters in Local 1000 for president and for DLC presidents? Because obviously you are talking like you respect the vote for the new DLC president for 768, but you can't respect the vote for the Local 1000 president. Again. Oh, so you say yes. Okay. Yes to what? Yes, that you respect the voice of the voters and that Richard Lewis Brown is the duly elected president and he should retain his presidency? Is that a yes to that? Put that in the Facebook comments. I respect the voice of the voters. Again, if you respect the voice of the voters, do you respect the fact that I am the duly elected president and what you're seeing going on about them trying to remove me is baseless and meritless? Because you cannot respect the voice of the voters when they told you that Richard's our president, and yet you're sitting back and you're being quiet while you see this great catastrophe, this great evilness, this great hypocrisy of them trying to remove me from office. So you cannot respect the voice of the voters. That's a lie. That's an absolute lie. That's an absolute lie. I don't like how you conduct yourself at times, but that's on you. Again, Troy Phillips, you don't like how I conduct myself at times. Is that your unconscious, racist bias as a white man towards a black man, Troy Phillips? I knew you'd walk into that. I knew you would. I knew you would. You've got a racial bias, in my personal opinion, against black men who are passionate and outspoken. But you're no different than a lot of white men that I know in this great country called America that I served with in the United States Air Force, Mr. Troy Phillips. You don't like how I conduct myself. Okay. You know what? And this is a problem between blacks and whites in this great country. Because when white people talk like that, we know that's talking in code. In other words, you're basically saying, sometimes you act like a nigger, Mr. Phillips. That's what you're saying. But you don't consciously realize that you're saying that to me. And all I'll try to do is fight for people and get people money. But when you say, I don't like how you conduct yourself at times, but that's on you. Did you say that to Teresa Taylor when she told me to suck a dick? Did you tell that white woman, I don't like how you conduct yourself at times when you told our president to suck a dick? Did you tell her that? No, you did not, Troy Phillips. And that's the racism inside of you. Keep talking. When you talk to employees the way you did, I do not agree with you. What employees did I talk to the way I did? What are you talking about, Troy Phillips? But you're trying to change the subject because you refuse to answer the fact that when a white woman told me to suck a dick and her daughter told me to eat a dick, you didn't say a word. You kept your mouth shut as a white man. Goodbye, Troy. Goodbye. Goodbye. Because you just told on yourself. You just told on yourself. Don't try to talk about no employee part because I didn't never talk to employees out of pocket. You don't know what you're talking about. But the truth will come out. Oh, yes, it will. Oh, yes, it will. Praise God. Hi, Yolanda. Go ahead, Yolanda. Go ahead, Yolanda.
Yeah, I'd like to say something about this Troy guy because, I mean, if he respects the vote, plain and simple, the vote is the vote. You won. And that's it. There's no ifs and buts about it. And what they're doing is clearly baseless.
Yolanda.
They're trying to grab the bag.
Yolanda, wait, hold on, Yolanda. Yolanda, wait. Let me interrupt you for a second. See, once Troy opened his mouth, he made a mistake because his racism was going to come out. At his final text on Facebook, his message, he says, "You're silly." I'm silly, but I'm the duly elected president. And Troy, you can't even tell me that how they elected their new DLC 768 president was done legally and done correctly. But I'm the one that's silly, and you can't give out straight answers. That's his mindset. But then again, this is a white man that's talking like this. And when he heard other white people talk to me and say things, now he feels emboldened to say the same thing. That's why I dismissed Troy Phillips. All right, so go ahead, Yolanda.
Well, I mean, if you're the president, that speaks volumes. What is he? So he can tell somebody they're stupid all they want to because he's not the president.
No, he said I was silly, but silly is a nicer way of saying I'm stupid. Yeah.
Silly, stupid, whatever he says. It's just the fact that, you're the president. Who won?
Listen to this. Listen to this, Yolanda. Hold on, Yolanda.
It's crazy how people come on here
Right.
or on Facebook
No.
and berate you and do all that kind of stuff, and they're not the president.
Listen to this.
Hello?
Listen to this, Yolanda. He says that, quote, you always go to the race card. Now, here's the funny thing about this, because I'm not surprised that this white man would say that. I'm just not. Because what he did, he told on himself. He got embarrassed. He has got embarrassed, Yolanda. Go ahead, Yolanda. Hold on, we have to let me mute someone real quick. Hold on 1 second here. Hold on, let me mute. Hold on 1 second. Let me mute. Okay, go ahead, Yolanda.
Okay, I'm just saying he has his nerve to come on here and talk like that when he's not the president, and all you're doing is trying to do the right thing for the members, and just because some people don't like you for whatever reason they may have, that's on them. You're just trying to do what's right by the members, and most of the members believe that. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been president.
You know what's?
So it goes to show, like, they doing everything in their power to make sure that you don't stay the president. It's crazy, and it's just making the whole union just fall to crumble.
No, wait. Hold on, Yolanda. Wait, I want you to understand this, Yolanda. Troy Phillips opened his mouth, and I knew he'd put his foot in it, and I would catch him in his racism. I just knew it. Here's the funny thing. When I was campaigning, I told white people to be proud to be white, because I'm proud to be black. And white people never had a problem with that. And when things was racial, I would call them out on that. So now he's responding back saying, when you're losing the conversation, you start the attack. No, I don't start no attack, Troy. I asked you some questions and you couldn't answer the questions. So, it's funny because he's using his white privilege. And white people don't like to be called out on their nonsense, but I called them out on it. Just like I call black people out on their nonsense. I call out everybody equally. And I want Troy and the rest of these so-called white people in the state of California. I didn't say that you said anything racist, Troy. I said that you have an unconscious racist bias about you don't like how I can conduct myself. Because the conduct of what you're looking for in a leadership is based off a white man. And that's your problem. But you unconsciously don't understand that because you are unconsciously being racist. Because you're building your platform for what leadership should look like in America based on a white man from Europe. And we know that black people, we talk differently, we act differently, we play sports differently, and yes, we make love differently, Mr. Phillips. So, I'm glad that Troy exposed himself tonight. Because he's acting like he's a leader on Facebook when he's nothing. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And he wants to, quote, talk about my conduct. But yet, hold on. He says, you were attacking an employee in the meeting, you were wrong. I did not attack an employee in the meeting, Mr. Phillips. You're wrong. And the truth's going to come out about what you think. Oh, I just answered that. I never attacked an employee in a meeting. Now, which employee are you referring to? Because I want you to tell me. Because when I was told to suck a dick and eat a dick, you refused to acknowledge that and you refused to say that the conduct, I saw it myself? What are you talking about? You saw it yourself. What did you see? When did you come to Local 1000? I was there. Oh, so now you're lying. So now he says that I'm lying. Move on, Troy. You don't have anything. Like Yolanda was saying, you don't have anything. Nothing at all. And when they tell you that, quote, I attacked an employee, I didn't attack nobody anywhere. Because if a black man attacks an employee, that black man gets arrested. Remember they told you I went to that building and on March 5th and that it was this big old situation. I never got arrested. It was in a great dispute on who was running Local 1000 on March 5th. The cops came and they left. When they told you that, quote, I seized the building, I didn't seize anything, I didn't organize anything. And my pants ain't on fire, Mr. Phillips. But your racism is on fire, and this is the gaslighting. So when I talk about tonight being about gaslighting, you are the perfect example of a gaslighter, a job steward who wants to create controversy. That's who you are, Troy Phillips, and you're hiding behind your unconscious racism. That's what you're doing. I'm not rambling. We talk about gaslighting, and you fell right into the trap, Mr. Troy Phillips, and I knew you would when you opened your mouth. I knew that. Miss me with the race card. Okay. You know, it's easy for white folks to say, miss me with your race card when they came to America as free people or as indentured servants and they got their freedom after 3 to 7 years. That's what white privilege is all about. And Troy Phillips is an example of white privilege. But we're not going to let that stop us here at Local 1000. We're not. Enough of Troy Phillips. I want Richard Wake to come on. That's the person I want to come on. And I want to thank Yolanda Williams for talking about people should go to PERB. It's funny. I wonder if Troy Phillips has gone to PERB. I just wonder. So, you know, Yolanda Williams has inspired me about, she's saying people should go to PERB and file about Local 1000 trying to remove its duly elected president and talk about the who, the what, the when, the where, and how. She's absolutely right. She's inspired me. A PERB charge. That inspires me. That inspires me. So I want to thank everyone for coming on tonight. It was fun. As I said, you know, oh, I see a hand. Oh, okay, I see a clap. Listen, I had to expose people tonight. Troy Phillips exposed himself. The spotlight on gaslighting, he fell right into it. I'm glad that he did. You know, and I don't have anything personal against Troy. I think Troy is probably a nice guy. He just didn't realize that he's speaking subconsciously about his racism, about he doesn't like my conduct. And then when he says that I attacked an employee, which is an absolute lie, that's gaslighting. That's gaslighting. So, finally, before I get off, it says, sleep good, folks. You did all the same ramblings. Okay. So, when people come on, they try to deflect from the message. And I always tell people, watch at the beginning, watch in the middle, and watch at the end. Through the grace of God, through Jesus Christ, I still love and respect Troy Phillips, even though I know he doesn't find me as being his equal, because he has an unconscious racial bias against outspoken, strong black men. But I still love him, and I still hope that he gets eternal life. How you're conducting yourself got you into trouble, so no, Troy, that's a lie, and everybody knows that. But we're going to still pray for you, Troy, and I hope that you find eternal life in the afterlife. I still love and respect you, even though I know you have an unconscious racial bias. And I say unconscious racial bias because I still believe in you, Troy. But there are some people in this union, they have a conscious racial bias. That's not racist, it's the truth. Well, okay, Troy. You still refuse to reflect or comment about when I was told to suck a dick and eat a dick and I was called a motherfucker. You won't respond to that, Troy. But that's your white privilege. All right, everybody. Tonight was November 30th, 2022. I'm Richard Lewis Brown. We had fun tonight. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Angie Garcia. Thank you very much. Love you. Mwah. Good night, everyone.